Hello, on today's episode, we talk about slow stringer, we talk about gifts from Chief Miller, and we learn about White 90. Welcome to another episode of the LOUDLABS show. Thank you. Today's episode is brought to you by Odyssey Coach. For all your bus charter needs, hit up Odyssey Coach. They are in the beautiful Orange County area. So, why are you orange? All right. So right now we're going to talk some sad news first. There was a stringer in San Luis Obispo area that crashed and died. He was on his way to a call, and he didn't make it to that call. So Victor's package is going to be on that. Matthew Frank was his name. Matthew, I believe, was in his early 20s. He owned a motorcycle shop, and he was buried about a week and a half ago. And just a few days ago, he had a memorial ride and vigil. I did make it to the memorial ride and vigil. I shot some stuff. I'm not going to show any of it right now. That'll be part of Victor's package. So yeah, did you hear about it at all from anywhere? Just from me? Just from you.
Yeah. What happened? Do you know what exactly happened?
He was on his way to a house fire, and I don't want to bring up the pictures. People have been posting the pictures, and I thought that was kind of rude. I didn't want to see that. But
what do you mean? You post pictures of people's bad nights?
Yeah, I know, but it was his friends that did it. Like if you died in a car, I'm not going to take a picture of that car and send it to your friends. Right? That's not right. That's who posted the pictures. So he's in a Tahoe, full-size Tahoe, and
Is he a full-time stringer? Is that what he does? I mean, besides the motorcycle shop you said he owned? Or?
Yeah, he went by Slow Stringer, SLO Stringer, and there's stringers all over the country, and some people make money at it, some don't. He was making money at it.
Yeah.
His pictures are good. He was more into it to show that the firemen and the policemen were heroes. He wasn't so much into it to put the stuff on TV, like we do. Or he was not so much covering the stories as much as he was showing that area what it is that's going on. And he had a pretty decent following. A lot of people didn't know him, but they knew of him.
Wasn't he involved with the firemen, like with Todd? Wasn't he with the firemen?
He wasn't with EPN. He wasn't an EPN, but they all knew each other.
Yeah.
Todd knew who he was, and all through social media. Everybody knew who this kid was through social media. He was a great photographer. Johnny Corona from Ventura. He was friends with him. Even some of the guys from On Scene were friends with him. He had lots of friends. I spoke to him about 3 years ago, right after he started. We played a little email tag and stuff like that, but it was sad news.
So what was he on a freeway? Was he on regular streets?
He was on a freeway. He was on his way to a confirmed house fire, a working structure fire, smoking fire showing, and they said hydroplane, but you never can tell. The roads were wet, and he ended up skidding off the roads, hit a tree, caught fire.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Was he trapped in there?
He was trapped in there. His I mean, I don't know how to explain this, but his helmet survived. I know that's not a big deal, but I was at his vigil the other day, and I saw his helmet on the ground and some dude kneeling next to it, and I was kind of like looking at it, and I was doing some Facebook Live stuff, so I was filming it, and some guys they found that in the car, and they were able to pull it out, and it was fine. So his buddy has his helmet. He has like a little, not so much a fire helmet, but it was like a protective helmet, and it said Slow Stringer Photographer on it.
His motorcycle helmet, or like his?
No, his work helmet. Let me see if I can find it.
Like a fireman's.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool helmet. I know I can find it in my footage, but let me see if I can find it on his head. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he is the first stringer to go down in line of duty that I'm aware of. He's the first one to go down that I'm aware of. It could have happened earlier in life, but due to social media, you find things out a lot quicker. All right, where's his helmet? Johnny has well, that's the helmet right there. Let me see if I can find a shot of it. because I knew it was his helmet because I've seen it before. I've seen it on him. I've seen it in pictures. That's how I knew, besides his name on it, that's how I knew it was him. But, I mean, he took some great photos. And the photos were the only thing that was, you know, he posts those on Instagram, but he was doing video. He did a lot of video. He's the first stringer in that area to make a living, to make money. I mean, it was enough for him to buy a motorcycle shop and fix people's motorcycles. Where's this fucking awesome helmet? But yeah, no, he definitely he made an impact in that community. A lot of people are bummed.
Was his the vigil ride? A lot of people show up.
There was a couple hundred motorcycles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got some aerials of it. I got some good stuff. Like I said, I'm not gonna go through it now. I'm gonna save it for Victor's package and Dearborn's piece. But yeah, no, I was able to. I didn't go on the ride. It was an 80-mile ride. I just recorded the beginning of it, and then I met him at the end. And they were at a park and had a candlelight vigil. There's probably about 150 people there. And I got a hotel room. I went back to my hotel room. I'm not going to look for his helmet anymore. I went back to my hotel room, and I got there just at 11 o'clock, and I turned on the 11 o'clock news, and that was the first thing they had. Reporter was talking about the
local news up there. Yeah.
The local news up there. He's been in the news for the past 2 weeks, ever since it happened. But with his, yeah, I can't find it. There it is. No, but it looks like that. Looks like that blue one. Yeah, that was it before he put the stuff on it. But anyways, that's Matt right there, man. What a bum deal. All right, so with that said, we're gonna get into Victor's package. Victor's package. Give me a second here. Victor's package is brought to you by Obey Imaging. For all your printer and toner needs, Google and get a hold of Obey Imaging. All right, Victor's package. Go.
We are mourning one of our colleagues, Matthew Frank. He was best known on social media as Slow Stringer. He was just like one of us, covering breaking news every night for the San Luis Obispo area. Now, this is footage from a memorial bike ride that was held just a couple of days ago. Now, police say Frank died March 21st in a horrific crash as he was responding to a house fire. That is when investigators say his SUV hydroplaned. Frank was loved deeply by the community and especially by firefighters. That is because he was a volunteer firefighter, and just that day that he died, he was expected to receive an award. And as many say, he died doing what he loved. Now, of course, he was just 30 years old, so young. Our thoughts and prayers goes out to him and his family and, of course, his colleagues. Todd and Scott, back to you.
All right, thank you, Victor, for that package. Very, very nice. Well-deserved. Matt deserved every piece of that and those words that you said. So let's bring our vibe back up. So Chief Miller sent us gifts.
What's up, dear one? Come on over.
So, Chief Miller. Thank you, Chief. The Chief has been watching our shows. He's a fan, so he reached out to me and said, "What's your address? I'll send you a care package." I opened it, but I haven't opened it. So, figured I'd open it here. We got some hats.
Fuck yeah. T-shirt.
Got some Chief Miller hats. Here you go. Thank you, Chief.
Wow.
Those are pretty sweet. What else we got here, Chief? That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's fucking
Oh,
cool,
Todd's favorite color.
Look at that. Here, Sky, check those out. Chief Miller, thank you so much, man.
Dude, look at these ones. These are awesome.
Wow, he's got his own packaging and everything, man.
Yeah, he's not messing around with that packaging. That packaging is pretty awesome.
Yeah, dude is stacked. It's how I roll.
I'm gonna cut the sleeves off and
The sleeves are coming off everything.
my summertime.
That's how I roll, Chief. Thank you.
You know, we've got some other ones here too. Oh, look at that. Dude, these things are awesome.
Wow, dude, that's so nice, man. We really appreciate that. I love T-shirts. We all love T-shirts on the show here.
That's awesome.
And
Thank you,
yeah,
Chief.
We're gonna be making some new T-shirts as well. So
Hats.
we need hats. We need a whole new. We need a new.
Oh, it's coming.
Swag kit. Punisher.
One more here.
Let's see.
Oh.
What's that?
I'm thinking it's a sticker pack.
Gift cards to Chili's.
It's a sticker pack.
Oh, sweet.
And Torch pre-workout blue Raz. Intensive energy. Hey! And it's from the chief, like a battalion chief, so it must be okay for you. Because it's probably nothing like the energy that I take.
What in the world? What,
Intense energy, massive pumps, extreme focus.
it's like you can mix it in a drink.
Yeah,
It's
that's what it looks like.
right?
That's like an IV thing.
And then some stickers.
You ate the whole bag.
Chief, we're in trouble. We Todd
Todd ate the plastic.
Oh, that one's awesome. Look at that.
Yeah, that's really cool, man.
This one will fit you, Scott, nice and tight.
Yeah. Woo.
Summertime.
Sleeves off.
Schmedium.
Schmedium.
This is actually a really cool shirt. I like the way that one feels.
Fuck. Hey, that's the coolest thing, man, ever, man. Thank you, Chief. That's means a lot to us that you sent these our way.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Chief. All right, so thank you, Chief. Much appreciated. That was awesome. I'll be wearing one of those in the next episode. All right, so right now we're gonna get into a story that Todd or White 90 shot a few days ago.
Yeah.
I had to look at his video to see if what he said is what he said, and of course it's what he said, but I couldn't believe it.
Right? No, here's the thing. Right? We've all been to shootings.
Yes, we have.
We've all been to many shootings, but so I get there, and of course, right away they're putting the tape up, and you get,
It starts with them telling you to scoot back.
Right. No, it's the same MO. When it's a shooting call, because when you get there, they're trying to figure out their area. So I just had a really quick minute, and they're pushing me back right there. So right here, when we get on scene here, we get you get that tunnel vision, and you're like, okay, victim, and you kind of start trying to figure out what's going on and where the victim is, and just kind of get your yeah.
Scoot back, pushing it back even farther. So at this point, you don't really know what happened. You just know somebody was shot.
No. I know somebody was shot, but I also know that I don't think I had it. There was no competition here with me on this one. This one got put out over the scanners, and it got real quiet. And then, like staging, they were staging, and when I got there, they just let these guys in to figure out what this victim needed and all that. So anyway, like I said, when we get there, you start shooting the victims, and you kind of get the tunnel vision on trying to square it up and get a good shot in the frame. But there was at least 100 neighbors from the residents all on the corners, all standing on the tape line.
And there's a reason.
What do you? Yeah.
Well, you're about to tell us, but normally when there's a shooting, the whole neighborhood doesn't come out.
Right.
But for this particular shooting,
right. So what I'm saying is I'm watching this all go down, and he's getting on the gurney, he's going in, and I can hear the neighbors and another police officer talking, because there's police officers canvassing the whole neighborhood, asking, did you see what happened? Did you see what happened? Do you know what happened? So I'm kind of listening to what's going on there and trying to get these shots. And you'll see here as I back up and I get around the RA, I can hear a woman on the street and a police officer saying, yeah, I think it was an AR-15, and another police officer comes up and talks with him, and then I can hear them discussing the rounds and the shells. And I still, at this point, I'm not really focused on what's going on. But then I take my eye off the camera and I look down the street, and I'm just like, no way. I'm like, I've never seen. There's, when the cops get to a scene, they put those little white cards over rounds. So I couldn't believe how many there. I counted
evidence markers.
I've counted. So I'm on the north end of the shot of the scene right now, shooting with my lens zoomed in here.
Those aren't small casings.
No, they're there. So they're long gun rounds, and like I said, the reason why I know is I could hear there's about 35 on the street right there.
Wow.
Okay, and then there's about 10 that are in the white sedan, and there's about 6 up on that sidewalk, and that's not even counting the rounds that are inside inside the car, and inside there's the homes got rounds.
They had to have.
Yeah, no. So what happened was I come up shooting, and the thing is that, like I said, we've all been to shooting scenes, and after this particular scene, when I'm shooting from this angle, all the neighbors had gone back in the house, and usually, you hear dogs, you can hear. This neighborhood was so eerily quiet. It was. I mean, they just had, like I said, I overheard a woman say it sounded like a war zone. I mean, right? I mean, 50 rounds, and another witness said that they thought that they heard another, like a handgun, 2 involved. So there might have been possible 2 different guns involved, but there
had to be 2 guns. I mean, how big was that magazine? I'm not a gun guy, but I don't think magazines are that big, and that looks almost automatic.
Oh, yeah,
somebody's finger went like this,
no,
or like that, however it is.
So and here's the.
Look at that. I saw this is the video I saw.
Yeah.
If you start counting.
Yeah, there's
10
at least. In
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and that's just on this shot right here.
Yeah, no, the guy, no, and listen, so that's the remarkable thing.
Well, I mean,
over
if he was
50,
going for this vehicle,
he
over 50, hit it.
Over 50 rounds, and the victim was only struck in the lower leg, and
he looked like he survived.
Yeah, he was looking at his.
But I mean, some of those are tiny holes, and some of those are big holes. Look at those tiny little ones. Yeah. But I mean, there's a lot of holes in that car.
But that bullet could have been the same. I mean, that bullet, just the way it tears the metal, doesn't mean it's 2 different kinds of
I know. No, I don't know if it's 2 different kinds. I'm just saying that there's
a lot of rounds.
Because that car is that color, I can straight call it Swiss cheese.
Yeah,
it's Swiss cheese, that thing. Even these guys are in awe.
Right. No, no, that's what I'm saying. So I stuck around and watching the whole thing go down, and then putting the markers up and looking for evidence. I mean, I like I said, we've all been to shooting scenes, but that one is the first time I'd been to one that had that many spent rounds in the neighborhood. It was crazy. And having the kid only get hit twice. I think he only got hit twice. I saw his leg bandaged.
Looked like his leg and his arm.
His arm, yeah.
Yeah. So, wow.
Yeah. Hyde Park.
All right. So that was Todd's AR story. Next up is our favorite story. Last Night's Look. Last Night's Look is brought to you by Market Fixtures. For all your restaurant and convenience store needs, Market Fixtures is the place. Give them a Google. All right, so let's get into Last Night's Look. Last Night's Look, I was late to the party, but I was able to at least join the party. There was a shooting at Crenshaw on 79th. I thought I had CPR in progress. I guess I wasn't recording when I thought I had that, or it didn't make it on there. So this dude was lit up. As a matter of fact, there is a female at the other end who heard the gunshots and then came out and Facebook Lived it. We could probably find it right now if I wanted, but we'll figure it out. She showed me the footage, and it's just some dude laying there, and all she does is start yelling at the cops. How come they're not helping him? Because they start putting up yellow tape, doing their scene. But he was shot in front of that liquor store. He was laying down, and I don't think he made it. His name was Don Juan, from what everybody in the neighborhood kept saying, that Don Juan got taken out. Don Juan is down. So yeah, I'm a little late to this party, so I kind of have to work a little harder. I like shooting it from the other side due to the way that it was set up here. And there goes Don Juan. He's out. There goes the officer following him. Shooting happened around 11:30 Thursday night, and the scene was there all the way till still there actually. So yeah, I went up there, got a little shot of the high ground. There's downtown in the background. There's our director friend. And just go through this real quick. So yeah, I went to the other end to shoot it because all the down stuff like that. Before I was just shooting into a hill. Now I'm shooting down the hill, so it's kind of fun and pretty to look at. Like right there. Oh, there's our director friend directing somebody over here. And there's some officers, and yeah, so this shooting's kind of stupid compared to your shooting. Although that guy got shot 3 times and probably died. The other guy was shot at 40 times and survived. It's so weird how odds how odds make it and work out. So yeah, that is that's last night's look, and right now we're going to take care of some business. Roll the sponsors. Odyssey Coach, offering private and public bus charters. Opening in 1989, family-owned and operated, they provide superior motor coach service with clean, late-model equipment and drivers who are safe, friendly, and accommodating to all passengers' needs. Their clients include high schools, colleges, senior citizen groups, government agencies, tour groups, sports teams, and more. Odyssey Coach offers free daily shuttles to Paula casinos from the Cerritos, Long Beach, and Seal Beach areas. Odyssey Coach also offers free nightly shuttles to Payuma Casino from the Hawthorne, Long Beach, Fullerton, and Anaheim areas. You can reach Odyssey Coach 24 hours a day at 714-366-2755 or email Robert at odysseycoach.com. Odyssey Coach, they're looking forward to hearing from you. Obey Imaging Supplies, Inc. Family owned and operated, located in the beautiful city of Huntington Beach, California. They offer original equipment, manufactured toner, and new compatible laser inkjet toner for all makes and models. They also carry all Fuser maintenance kits, drums, micro toner, and any accessories pertaining to your printing supplies. When it comes to your toner needs, call Obey Imaging Supplies, Inc. Call Obey Imaging Supplies, Inc. today at 877-535-6239 or check them out online, obeyimaging.com.
Market Fixtures Unlimited, the premier choice for all your supermarket and restaurant equipment needs. For over 50 years, Market Fixtures Unlimited has been serving the wonderful state of California, Nevada, Arizona, and New Mexico. Whether you're looking for a brand new range to spruce up your restaurant's kitchen or a refurbished refrigerator unit for your supermarket, we can get all those products that you need. Let Market Fixtures Unlimited help you take your business from what it is now to what you know it's capable of being. Give Brian a call, 562-803-5553, or go to their website and check them out at marketfixturesunlimited.net.
Next up, we have Pedal Perfect. For all your flower needs and wants, call Pedal Perfect. They do it all. Weddings, parties, corporate events, you name it, call Pedal Perfect. Pedal Perfect offers local delivery in the Los Angeles and Orange County areas. Call Pedal Perfect at 562-631-6478. Or connect with them on Facebook, or you can check them out on Instagram, pedal_perfect. Thanks, people. Now let's get to this conversation. All right, and we're back from our sponsors. I know you just heard it, but we're going to say it again. Today's conversation is brought to you by Pedal Perfect. For all your flower needs, Google Pedal Perfect. Find them. All right, so today's conversation is going to be about white 90 here. It could be a short 5-minute conversation, or maybe the guy will open up and we'll have, a 40-minute conversation. But I want to know about Todd. I know about Todd, but everybody else doesn't know about Todd / white 90. So, hi, Todd.
Hi, Scott.
Let's start with the basics, man. Where the fuck were you born? Where are you from? Where's your hood? Where you hang out?
I was born in Downey, California. Yeah.
Were you born in Downey at the hospital?
Yep, in the hospital.
Sweet. I was born there too.
You were?
I was born in Downey. I was.
How'd you end up there?
My grandpa lived right down the street, and that was the closest hospital to him, and that's where my mom ended up going. And my mom and dad used to live in Downey. They were in Downey. I think they were in Downey when I was. No, they were in Downey before I was born, and then they went to La Palma. She has a picture of. She took a picture. I have it at home. She took a picture. They used to live on Stewart and Gray, in between Reeves and Paramount. So right down the street from Taco Bell, and she has a picture of the dairy. She took a picture from outside of her room, and you can actually see the dairy. Yeah, you can see the dairy.
My mom and I, we used to go through there all the time.
So you started in Downey?
Yeah.
Yeah? From zero? And then went to Downey schools?
Yeah, went to South Middle School, and then it's not called that anymore. It's all the middle schools were called, East, West.
Yeah, what's near us now, or near me now? What is that? West?
That's West.
Yeah, it's not West anymore. It's I forgot what it was called. I forgot what it's called. I should know what it is. I fucking walk by it every day.
Yeah, you should.
I do walk by it every day when I'm taking kids to school. So what
So yeah, we my brother and I and my mom we grew up in Downey, and then we moved. My dad started a restaurant up in Redding, California, so we moved up to.
See, I'm already learning stuff I didn't know. I thought you went to Redding to go to Redding. I didn't know because your dad opened a restaurant.
No, yeah, my dad opened up a restaurant, and my mom my mom and dad, you know, they were divorced. So, but they remained friends. And when he went up north to start this restaurant, he needed help with you know, making, you know, salads, and it was like a kind of like a it was an 8-course like high end, you know, meal place.
He asked you and Craig to go up there to make salads?
Yeah. Well,
How old were you guys?
He asked Roby to go up and
Gotcha.
make salads, not me.
Gotcha.
I left. We left. I was 9, 10, 11. Yeah. So when we leave, I was 9 years old and something like that.
When you so that puts you at what school were you going to at that time?
I was just getting out of Maud Price.
All right. Did you meet anybody at Maud Price that you talk to now?
Oh, no. Actually, you know, I was just that kind of like that's the age where you start making friends, and you know, you're just playing like, you know, sports outside of school, and you know, with DJA, what is it, DJA? Yeah, DJA baseball and all that stuff in the city. So yeah, I was making friends, and you know, that's when, you know, everyone was like, "We're leaving, we're going to Reading," and I'm like, "No, I'm not. You guys are going. I'm staying here." Like, I didn't want to fucking go, you know, and so my mom decides to go up and help my dad and get us out of the city, and it was actually, you know, pretty cool. 3 years. We spent 3 years up there, and I learned how to, you know, do a lot of things like in, you know, the woods, you know, like, you know, taking off on bike trails that were, you know, 5 miles long. I learned how to fish.
Were you guys riding motorcycles by then, or is that where it started?
No, well, no, it's not where it started, but the people that we started racing with had that was their family was up there, and my mom and became friends with them, and so yeah, that's how we met Scott, was basically our motocross like mentor, coach, you know, all that stuff when my brother and I were racing. But yeah, so we did 3 years up there, and the 3 years that we did up there were, like I said, I didn't want to go at first, but it's the first time we saw snow. Yeah, it was the first time I'd ever seen snow or touched snow in my life. Yeah,
Really?
we were driving. We were actually driving in the Impala. My mom had the Impala up there, and
The Impala.
yeah,
The hood that's in Chad's room.
yeah, the Impala. So we had
That's awesome.
We had that up there, and I just remember.
Hold on a second. So when he says Impala, he doesn't mean that cool little car that's driving around right now. He means that big
the
boat.
75 Impala.
Yeah, that thing.
My mom had that car was actually, it was from Rochester, New York, brand new off the lot. Drove across the country to when my mom's parents moved out here to California, and then when my grandfather died, that car became my mom's car, and then my mom had that car for, I don't know, probably 10 years, and then she was finally going to get rid of it.
Then the cowboy got a hold of it.
Yeah, and then I was like, no, we're not selling that. I'll drive that. She's like, you don't want to drive this around? I go, yeah, I do want to drive that around.
And you did.
Yeah, we had a lot of good times in the Impala.
Yeah, if I would have known about this, I probably would have grabbed some footage of you driving that in your cowboy hat in your young-looking days.
Yeah, I think there's some footage that's kind of floating around that you have on tape.
I have it. Yeah. I have it. Walking in and out of 7-Elevens, walking in and out of liquor stores.
Bars.
But it's the hat is what did it for me. You remember when cowboy hats used to be popular? Well,
no. Right?
Todd did. White 90 did. And he would wear this cool little cowboy hat and get into that Impala and
look like Burt Reynolds, man.
Yeah, I used to have to find a ride home from the bars.
Yeah. So the first time we saw snow was we were driving around, and Craig and I used to like to ride in the back seat because it was a big long bench and you could fucking lay out and whatever the fuck. And so we're driving down the mountain, in the neighborhood, and up in this like I think the town's called Inyo. It's like a little south of Downey or just south of Reading, and we're driving. These giant white rocks are on the side of the road, you know, from the melt off, and they're just clocking by, and we're just like, the fuck, Mom, what is that? Where are those? She goes, I don't know, just rocks. And I'm like, no, I think that's snow, Mom. I'm like, pull over. So we pulled over, and then Craig and I remember trying to, you know, break chunks of snow off to have snowball fight on the side of the road. But that was pretty cool. And then my mom had actually the next year when it snowed, she kept us out of school the first day, and we learned how to go. We went to Mount Lassen to learn how to ski, and
Learned how to what?
Yeah, that was the only day I've ever skied in my
Me too.
life.
You've only done it once?
Once.
Same here. I did it once. That was it. It took one time to know, not for me.
Yeah, this is too much equipment. The poles, the skis, it was all way too much equipment. And I mean, we had a great time. I mean, I fell and broke my ass all day, but it was skiing was just seemed like. Hey, grab me one. Skiing just seemed like it was.
The red one?
Doesn't matter. Skiing just was not for me at all, man. It was too much work. I mean, like I said, it was a good time.
So how old are you?
9.
All right. So have you started skating yet?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you already
I'm
skating a little bit. So
not really skating. We have cheap skateboards at this point, like the Woolworths, like Target boards, the Nash boards, whatever the shit.
Nash boards.
Yeah, and so we had a board. I think we had one board that we were country, but we were more into riding bikes and
yeah.
BMX
Snowboarding hadn't existed yet.
No,
But
it
didn't exist.
It didn't exist yet. So, but yeah, so like I said, I knew I'd rather go to tubing. At that point, I'd rather go tubing down hills instead of fucking skiing, So we did, like I said, we lived there for 3 years, and it was a great 3 years.
Making salads?
Roby was making salads, and we would go to the restaurant every weekend, and we would help like vacuum and clean out the cushions. And Craig and I got like every week we'd probably make like $3 or $4 and change.
Hold on a second. How old were you when they divorced?
My mom and dad were split by the time I was 3, and Craig was just turned a baby. He was just a baby.
But your dad opened a restaurant, and your mom said, "I'll come and help you."
Yeah, I told you they remained friends.
Yeah, no, I know, but I mean that's amazing.
Well, another thing too is I think my mom and my dad both kind of, not that there's anything wrong with Los Angeles, and but I think if every kid had an opportunity to get out of the city, out of the concrete jungle here, and kind of, like Scott, I mean, I've never been to Concord, but living, but you guys have. I've seen pictures of your house, and like being out more, like not necessarily the countryside, but just being in not the city, not the big city, was I think kind of interesting to my mom. And and my mom, I think at the time, she was the adult, so I think she wanted out of the city.
And it's safer for you guys up there.
And she, well, I mean, no, safer. There's bobcats. I mean, there's all kinds.
It's not the streets of hardcore Downey.
Right,
and at that point, Downey was actually.
Yeah,
Downey was nice.
Yeah, Downey's still a good place to live. I mean, it's still a good place to live. But, so yeah, I think my mom just wanted a chance to maybe give us a different perspective on how life could work and not in the city. So she took a chance, but my dad got her we had a huge house. We had a 3-bedroom, giant den.
Were you guys living together?
No.
No?
No.
Right.
My dad still had his own place, but
Gotcha.
he got my mom, set her up in a house in a neighborhood that was probably 5 miles down. We lived kind of close to the Sacramento River. Like I said, there was so much. We got up there in the middle of the night, and when you get up in the middle of the night to a new neighborhood,
you don't know what's going on until the sun comes up.
Until the sun comes up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that first morning, I mean, I had these big bay. My brother and I had these rooms next to each other, looking out to the front street. And we had these big bay windows, like you could actually climb in, and sit and look out the window. I mean, it was really cool.
You didn't have bunk beds anymore? Or?
No, we didn't have bunk beds. Craig and I were not sleeping in the same room at all. Not even at 9. Before we moved, I think my mom was. No, you know what? We did. Before we moved, we were still in bunk beds. You're right, Scotty.
You know what? Speaking of,
we were.
Craig, I was just thinking the other day. I'm like, dude, we need somebody to come in because the person I thought of was. Jimmy's friend, Tom. But we need somebody to come in here and talk construction. Who can we talk with construction? And holy shit,
yeah,
Craig.
Craig.
When's Craig getting in here?
Soon.
Yeah. So
We'll get him in here.
You and Craig are
so we have these
looking out bay windows.
Bay windows, yeah. And then it was just like we had this big giant maple tree in the front yard, and that was summertime. We got up there in the summertime. We left right after school. We finished our last day of school in Downey, and then we moved. So that first whole summer, I'll never forget that neighborhood kids would ride by our house and just look at us. No one said a word to Craig and I. We didn't go off base from the house because we didn't know what we didn't ride our bikes through the neighborhood. We just kind of stayed at home. We were really big into slip and slides at the time, and we had a really backyard, so we had plenty of room to build like double slip and slides, and we had a big tree in the backyard, so we had a rope swing and all that shit. So we were fine, but none of the neighborhood kids talked to us. And the first day of school at Sycamore Elementary, you're not allowed to wear shorts to school. And my mom and dad did, for whatever reason, they did not figure this out. And the very first day of school, I'll never forget, as us walking, because the school was only like probably a mile away in the neighborhood, walking to school in September, when school year starts, it's still hot as fuck up in Redding. Craig and I are wearing shorts, and we don't pick up on it that
nobody else is.
Nobody else is, on the way to school walking. But all these kids are looking.
You're from Southern California, man.
We're SoCal, right? We had the Hang 10 T-shirts on and our shorts. And
OP shorts.
Yeah, and so we get to school and we walk in, and it dawns on me right when we get to school. As soon as I walk through the gates, and I'm like, Craig, I go, no one's wearing shorts. He's like, yeah, so whatever. Maybe
sounds about right.
Yeah. Craig's like, I don't know, whatever. So we get there, and we both go to our first classes, and within 5 minutes, Craig and I are both at the front office from our different classes, sitting.
And you're like, hey, I know you.
I know you. And Craig's like, what's up? And I'm like, I think it's the shorts, Craig. So they called our mom, and mom come down to get us, pick us up, and she was like, whatever, okay, so you guys don't want to let your kids wear shorts. So I remember we get in the car, and my mom just going the whole time driving home going, how fucking stupid is that? These kids can't wear shorts. It's fucking 100 degrees out here, So, but after that,
the neighborhood kids knew who you were real quick.
Yeah, the neighborhood kids. I mean, they knew who we were. They were clocking us all summer, So after that, we came back, and it was like it was amazing that when we got back with pants on, all the kids in our classes the next day, we would change from like I think to two different classes from homeroom, and then throughout the day you only change one of their class. But during the PE and recesses and all that stuff, all the kids started coming up and be like, hey, I'm Jim. Hey, I'm Jay. I'm Clay. I'm Robbie. I'm Kurt. And all the kids that I met up there, I mean, they were fucking awesome, man. I've lost contact with.
Yeah, I was gonna say, have you kept in contact with any of them? I mean,
no.
It's a little hard at 10.
No. Yeah,
when you're 10 years old.
No, yeah, it's but no, I haven't. But I did try to find one friend that I was really close with up there. His name was Jim. But I found him where he might possibly be, and then there was that moment where you're like, do you want to go further with this and try to reconnect? And I stopped, and I just haven't. But there was a lot of, like I said, those 3 years, these kids taught us how to. I mean, taking off in the streets of Downey and Los Angeles on your bike at 9, you didn't go very, very far, You
had to stay in yelling distance.
Right.
That's how that works.
Or you get to go out with someone older, like Robbie Barter used to take us out, to the bike shop, or, as long as you were with an adult, you could go further off your street. But in Redding, kids would be like at 9 o'clock in the morning, see ya, and we would go ride up into the hills and by farms and by the rivers, and there's this place called Oak Santa Gravel. It was an old abandoned rock quarry place right next off the 5 freeway and between the 5 and the Sacramento River. And dude, it was the fucking playground of all playgrounds. It was an abandoned rock mining place, and it had the old conveyor belts and the big giant silos that hold the crushed rock.
Were they working, or were you just climbing on them?
All bad, just climbed on them.
Climbing on them?
Giant jungle gym, man. And
wow.
The river was right there. So I mean, it was like I said, it was. I didn't want to go at first. I was very like, fuck no, I'm not going to Redding. But after the first summer, it was the greatest time. It was, and then having to leave to come because my dad's restaurant was
too nice for the area.
No. There was a little bit of that going on, and you tapped out. There's only so many people that were going and could afford the restaurant.
There's only so many people that live in one area.
Well, but there was only it took about 3 years for it to kind of become old,
Gotcha.
And it was cool at first. I mean, my dad, Christmases were great up there, except for the year that we got caught playing with fire. That was the year Craig and I discovered fire, and we started. Craig almost caught the elementary school on fire.
That's not good.
The only giant tree, the willow tree. There's only one tree out in the playground of this elementary school we went to, and Craig, he almost caught it on fire, and then
on purpose?
No, we were just playing like Army. We used to play a lot of Army up there, and we used to.
What does that have to do with fire?
Because you got to keep warm, you know. We used to make playing out in the dirt in the hills. You know, you have to keep warm. You know, you're playing.
Like you keep warm, or for your soldiers to keep warm?
No, us. We were the soldiers.
Gotcha. You weren't playing with GI Joes. No, you guys were Army.
These kids we'd met up there. It's Kurt. His father was in Vietnam, so he had tons of camouflage jackets, backpacks. Everything you needed to play Army, this one kid had.
Gotcha.
And so we would go and dig holes and foxholes in the hills and wherever we could go and mess around. So Craig
somebody needed a warming fire, and Craig's like, I got this. I got this.
Well, we used to take matches from the restaurant. We had to put my dad in
your restaurant.
Yeah, my dad. Yeah, the book of matches. So it was all the evidence.
You just don't see that anymore, by the way.
The book of matches.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere. I mean, you have to literally ask for them at the liquor store, and they don't even have them anymore. And I just hear people ask for them because, I mean, cigarettes are what, $10 a fucking pop right now?
Yeah.
And nobody buys matches. Yeah. So every once in a while I hear somebody say, do you have matches? And the guy's like, he looks at him kind of funny. He's like, what are you talking about?
Buy a lighter.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of funny that, I mean, you grabbed your...
Yeah,
you grabbed your dad's matches and almost burned down the school tree.
So everything was going good except for that Christmas. I mean, my dad was making money. The Christmas that we got caught playing with fire, we got snow saucers, and I think I got a football. And that year
that's all you needed.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, it's all we needed. I mean, but that year sucked, and we learned a very hard lesson. Kids, don't play with fire. It's not.
Oh, is that why you didn't get stuff?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
you mean Craig almost burned a fucking tree in a school down?
Well... And you said that the business wasn't going well, so I thought maybe it was dollar-wise. No, it was straight up you're in trouble-wise?
We were in trouble.
But at least you got things.
Yeah, no, it's like I said, so we
I like the way that your dad explained it to you, why you didn't get stuff.
Yeah, because you're fucking idiots.
That's not why. Think about it now that you're an adult.
Yeah,
you didn't
Craig almost burned a school down. That's why. We almost fucking burned a school down. So... We got that. We got in trouble, and then, like I said, those 3 years they went by really fast. And when we left that morning, that was one of the hardest. That was one of the hardest mornings to leave too, because we left on an early morning to come back to Los Angeles. And I remember driving through the neighborhood and my mom stopping at every one of my friends' houses. It was like 7 o'clock in the morning, and I knocked
the
up
goodbye tour
to the windows. I'm like, later, Jim. Later, Kurt. Later, Robbie. And yeah, it sucked, man. And so, but getting back down to Los Angeles, then it was a whole nother like.
Did you go back to the same Devoneer house, or?
Yeah, we came back to the
same one. So
yeah.
what was going on for those 3 years while you were gone? Was it empty, or you rented it out?
Rented
out.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So yeah, we got back, and then I started. Seventh. It was my first day of 7th grade, and that was a whole nother. Making I thought it was hard making friends up in Redding, but when I got back and didn't have any of those old friends, those years are when you start to make it in your really good bonds, and who you're going to hang with and all that stuff. And so Craig and I had no friends basically when we came back. And the first day of middle school was kind of rough. It was a couple weeks went by before I was starting to hang out with anybody. And after that, I met this kid named Kenny Shaw was his name, Kenny, and him and I kind of hung for a while. And then that's when I met the rest of the crew.
Who was the first guy you met?
Kenny.
No, in the crew.
That was probably.
Was it Freddie?
No, it was Cazoose. It was Jason, the LAPD officer that we had on the show here, and Steve Miller and Willie. Willie's the first kid that I sat next to in Mr. Patterson's class. I thought he was the smartest Asian in the class. Okay,
so I just found out at the wedding reception. I was told that Willie won the spelling bee. I'm like, no shit.
Yeah.
She's like, Willie won the spelling bee. I'm like, no shit.
What spelling bee?
The spelling bee that the kids were giving you guys at the at the wedding reception.
Oh, right.
And she said Willie won the spelling bee, and I was like, well, duh. and she thought I meant like he won the spelling bee at school. I'm like, no, he won the fucking spelling bee there.
Yeah.
But Willie was the kind of kid that you can cheat off me. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, but he when I sat down next to him, he was asleep, and then when he finally realized I was the new kid, he's like, hey man, he's like, did you sit next to me because you think I'm the smart Asian in the class? I'm like, no, I didn't. He was like, well, good. He goes, because I don't know what the fuck's going on here. History wasn't his thing, And Mr. Patterson, actually, he got smacked by that teacher like a couple of weeks later for falling asleep again. He came by and whacked him on the back of the head.
You can't do that now.
Super hard. No, I know. That's
You
what we
can't do that in today's.
Yeah, no, that's what we talked about. When we always bring that story up, he's like, dude, that dude hit me hard, man. And Mr. Patterson was a big dude, man. And really, he's like, that fucking dude put hands on me. And he's like, you can't do that now.
I had hands put on me by a teacher in 5th grade. He didn't like what I did, and he pushed me, and he pushed me up against the coat racks. So I had the bar right in my back. Went, Yeah. So I went home, told my dad.
Yeah.
And usually, like, I can handle my own little problems at school. But that one, I was like, hey, man, this guy pushed me, Dad. He pushed me into the thing. It hurt my back. It hurt my back. A few days later, my dad's like, he won't do that again, son. Yeah. I guess my dad went down there and talked to him. Good old Ron.
Good Ron.
Yeah, I remember it. Mr. Schuster. 5th grade teacher, Mr. Schuster.
Thank you for the lessons, Mr. Schuster.
Yeah, so that puts you at 7th grade at South Middle School, and you're meeting
Steve Miller.
You're meeting people. You're meeting people at this point that you know now.
Yeah. That I still know.
I mean, this is the 80s.
Yeah.
This is the fucking mid 80s. What, 85?
No, it's like 88.
I was in 7th grade in 87, so.
No, well.
87, 88? No, 88, 89. Yeah, so.
No, it's 87 because 9th grade is my 88 year. So.
Gotcha.
So you have your years wrong.
Duh.
So yeah, so 87, it's like 87, you know.
So 87, 88, 89. Because I know 89, 90 was my freshman year. So yeah, no, I'm 87, 88 for like my 7th grade shit.
Yeah.
But so you meet those guys, and at this point, you still in motorcycles? Still in skateboarding?
No, I'm skating. We're skating, you know, daily everywhere, and not riding motorcycles yet. So the person so we still have friends up in Reading, and these are Chris and Matt, these 2 boys that we used to hang with. My mom befriended their mother. Her name was Liz. Liz is married to a guy named Bob. Bob's brother, Scott, is the uncle of Chris and Matt, the kids that we used to run with. And those kids were rock and roll kids, man. They had the first Santa Cruz, like real skateboards, and they lived up in CV, Central Valley, which was probably a little north of Reading, probably 10 miles. And they used to live in this really, really bitchin' new track home area, and they had 80s. They had Suzuki 80s that Scott, their uncle, would get them, and they also had skateboards. They were building quarter pipes. They were like, those are the kids that were going and taking wood from the old construction, for the new homes, and stealing it and bringing it back. And so Craig and I, when we'd hang with these kids, they smoked, they dipped, Copenhagen, and so. They got Craig to fucking try cigarettes at fucking 8 years old, man, and dip.
And what, 30 years later?
30 years later,
he's still fucking smoking them.
Sponsored by Philip Morris, yeah.
Jesus.
So, but these kids, Chris and Matt, were really cool. They taught us, how to, they played drums. They had their own. They both played guitar and drums. They skated. They rode motorcycles. So we learned how to, kind of be adventurous and take off for the day with them, which was super fun. And then going to the Lake Shasta, Whiskey Town Lake. That was all, just fucking amazing stuff. So then we came back down to Los Angeles. So how we meet Scott, their uncle, is he's going to go up there for a vacation. He would go up there every summer. And one summer he said, hey, Roby, do you want to go up? I'm going to get a motorhome and go up and see Bob and Liz and the boys and everything like that. And she's like, no, but Craig and Todd and Craig might want to go. So that summer we went up. That summer, 2 weeks was great because then Scott was really like, hey, he would take Chris and Matt on the bikes.
You see all your old friends?
Yeah, I saw all the old friends.
That was probably really cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. You had to see all the old friends because it had been it was like a 4-year gap.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was like a 4-year gap before we went and did this vacation. So that, and then, or maybe 2 or 3 years, 4 years, because then when we got up there, Scott was bringing back one of the Chris and Matt's bikes that they were going to sell or whatever. So on the way back, I was just interested in. Craig and I are both like, what are you going to do with the bike? And can we come over? Can we go ride?
Just kids asking questions without asking the question.
Right. And so and Ascot Speedway was going on down off the 91 freeway on Friday nights. So he goes, all right, well, let me take. That's where they used to do the bikes with no brakes. What was that? The Speedway. It was called Speedway. But anyway,
Penhall.
Yeah, those kids. Yeah.
Bruce Penhall.
Yep. So we got home, and then he took us to a few of the Speedway races and Ascot, and we were like, yeah, we want to do this. So then he had to go back and convince Roby, these kids want bikes, and if you guys are interested in getting bikes, I will teach them how to ride and eventually if they want to start racing, because Scott raced, like, you know, he still races to this day. He's on vet class, but he still races. So my mom and dad, it took them a long time to get to the point where they convinced Bruce and Roby that, hey, but Bruce was the one that said, if you don't let them do this, because I wasn't playing football and I didn't have the grades to stick around. I could try out for basketball, I could try out for baseball, but every time the grades came out, I would get D's, and you had to have this, you know, C average to play. So, so Bruce finally said, he goes, if you don't let these boys have some sort of an outlet, they're gonna start robbing liquor stores. You know, they're gonna be bad kids. You know, so my mom and Bruce finally said, yeah, let's do this. Let them do it. And I got my first motorcycle. I got an RM Suzuki 125, 80 and 89 model. And my brother, we used to get our bikes from R&D, which was Rudy and Dean. Everybody in the motorcycle world would know who they are. They used to live they used to have a shop out of Norwalk, and they built bikes. And they basically, you know, Scott knew them, and that's where Scott would get all his bikes for all of his nephews and all of the kids that he was training how to race.
This whole fucking time I thought Uncle Scott was your mom's brother.
No, just Uncle Scott is just, you know, the kind of a, you know, a friend, you know, the Uncle Scott.
I'm Uncle Scott to a lot of my friends' kids.
Yeah.
That's
so,
how it goes.
That's how it goes, you know. So
see, I'm learning things about White 90 today too.
Yeah. So yeah, Scott would take us out, and we started going to Adelano out there off the 395, and we would go out there, you know, some weekends with a crew of like 10 kids, or we'd go out there with just the 3 of us. And there was tracks out there. Sunrise track was out there off of the 395, and so we got from the desert, and we'd start doing like Paris Raceway and start doing like tracks, and then finally we would, you know, do you want to race? And then so Craig and I both said, yeah, let's race. So we got involved with SRA, CMC, and all that stuff, and it was fun. It was fun, and then I was, like I said, I was in high school, and then by the time I got to senior year, I kind of started getting into snowboarding and chicks and, you know, hanging out with friends.
So what year is this?
I
senior year is what, 91, 92?
91.
Yeah, because snowboarding kind of showed up. 87, it was happening. Nobody knew what it was.
Right.
89, people were starting to figure it out. But 91 is when it just went boom.
Yeah,
it was Creatures of Habit 2.
Right.
Not Creatures of Habit 1, but Creatures of Habit 2 is what just blew it up, at least in my world.
Yeah, well, but the first time we went snowboarding, I went with Clint. And we were, my uncle Donald, my mom's real brother, Uncle Donald came.
Where'd you go?
To
Mountain High at night, like everybody else for their first time?
No, Bear.
Bear during the day?
Snow Summit, yeah, Bear.
Most likely Snow Summit. Bear wasn't.
Yeah.
Wasn't quite the place at the time. Snow Summit was the place.
Yeah. So Uncle Donald, he lived in Breckenridge, Colorado.
And now that one's a real uncle, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's
all
Uncle
right.
Donald's my mom's brother. So he lived in Breckenridge right there on the mountain.
Oh, beautiful city. It's a postcard city. I've been there. It's a postcard town.
So he was in town and during the winter time, and he's like, hey, the boys want to go snowboarding, and he's like, well, I'll go skiing. I'll take them up. And so it was my first time even being up the mountain, going up to, you know, Big Bear area, and having my uncle drive. Clint and I were in the back seat. I borrowed a Sims.
You borrowed also?
I borrowed the Sims board, and Clint rented. It was the first time you could start renting boards at the sports chalet.
Do you know whose board I borrowed when I first went?
Kurt's?
Nope. Nope. Downey Boy. He's not with us anymore.
Oh, is that Veltri?
Yep.
Yeah.
Jeff had a Burton Air. Craig Kelly Burton Air, and he was super cool and let me borrow it for 2 times. And at that point, I was working at the liquor store.
Yeah.
And somehow I acquired money from that liquor store, and I bought my own snowboard.
Right.
And I bought a Kemper. And so I remember my first board was a Kemper, and I didn't need to borrow his board anymore. And then I remember people asking to borrow my board, and I'm like,
nah.
I wasn't as cool as Jeff.
No, you know what? It's funny you say that, because I borrowed my first board from a kid named Kevin, and yeah, when I got my first board and people wanted to borrow, I was like,
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
And that was like the thing to do. I mean, snowboarding was new. It was exciting. It was fun.
Yeah, it was a full-on charge, man, for sure. And so, like I said, so my uncle took us up there, and Clint and I had a blast. And that was actually the first time, besides like tubing up in Reading, that I've been back. And like I said, skating was already in our blood, so we were already doing that sideways.
Yeah, and Clint was a good skater.
And so we were going sideways you know.
So you two figured it out pretty quick?
Pretty quick, man.
Yeah.
Like 1 or 2 runs, and then him and I just and I never forget, we both bought like identical outfits. We had bright orange pants, and we had these purple and black jackets. We had these new Wave Rave. Remember? You know,
Oh yeah, no, I remember Wave Rave. I had Wave Rave pants.
Yeah.
I had Wave Rave black pants with a purple butt, and they were bibs.
Yeah. We had these big purple and black Wave Rave jackets and sunglasses and hat. I mean, it was just we were identical. We were twinsies for sure. But we had a blast, and we took off from there. And snowboarding, we never stopped. And now I can say honestly, I've missed the last 2 seasons of snowboarding because my knees.
Only one. You only missed one.
Yeah, we went once. We went to Mammoth. Okay.
No, I'm talking about like we went to Alaska last year.
Right. Okay, you're right. We went to
So we went to Mammoth. We went to Alaska.
I missed 1 season.
And then I haven't ridden since Alaska, and because of our awesome weather, there's gonna be snow up there till at least July 4th.
That's what they say, but I don't think so.
I just spoke to somebody who was there over the weekend, and he said there's a lot of snow, and it's not even all icy. Like there's no powder left, but there's a lot of snow.
There's a lot of sun in the air too. In a minute.
There is, but we should probably go before the season's over.
Dearborn, you want to get your skis out?
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, we can do one of 2 things, because the way that the world works is we can land in Mammoth, ride, and be back in time to string. That's how awesome it is. Or we can fucking drive 6 hours, ride, and then not drive home. Remember when you were young, you could do all that in one thing?
Turnaround trips.
No turnaround.
It's like an hour flight. Just fly up.
Yeah,
there.
just fly up there, just
It's like
ride for a little bit, and then
Reno.
fly home.
Reno was like what, 2 hours? 2-hour flight.
Did you? When did you just went right?
Yeah.
He had a little bit of
I didn't
issues,
ski,
but
though. Yeah.
You didn't ski?
he took his skis.
I took my fucking.
Did you really? And you didn't ski?
No, I got up there. It was late.
Remember,
Got
he
Saturday
got there a
night.
day late.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
The weather. It was weather.
Gambled. Yeah.
It was weather.
Right? How was Reno? I didn't even ask you.
There's a lot of tweakers.
You want to hit that quad?
How was it?
Hey, Scott Dearborn, welcome to the show.
It was good. I mean, Reno's like it's like Vegas.
The
just
small sort of
smaller,
tweaker
like
town in the small sort of
a lot
tweaker town.
tweakers.
In,
You stay inside.
I got myself a DUI in that town.
did you really?
Yeah, with Chad.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I was. I became a stringer and worked for 10 days, and then took 2 weeks off. I worked for 10 days, made $1,700, and said, I'm out of here. And Chad and I went to Reno, San Francisco. Where else did we go? Sacramento.
Didn't you go to his little shit town in Nevada too? What was that?
Yeah. I don't remember, but yeah, no, we went there.
Capital. Carson City.
Yeah, we went there. Sacramento. We did a whole loop, and I ended up getting a DUI in Reno.
Who'd you go see in Reno, Scott?
Swipe left or right?
Who'd I see? Just all my friends have like not like a bachelor party. They just have a man.
Just
Kinda
a
like
man
a
gathering.
man gathering. Yes.
Yeah,
So.
that's cool. Did you guys just gambled? Did you guys see a show or anything?
No, Stevie Nicks was there the night before, so I missed that. That would have been a hoot.
Real treat, huh?
Yeah, real
To see
treat.
the-
I'd have fucking
see
gawked
the-
it.
Stevie?
Yeah.
Stevie Nicks.
Oh.
All right, so Todd learned how to snowboard,
Yeah.
and I mean, I can personally say snowboarding changed my life. I wouldn't be sitting here right now if it wasn't for snowboarding. I watch enough snowboard fucking videos where I'm like, I need to grab a camera, and well, John Freeman fucking took care of that. Thank you, John Freeman. But snowboarding changed my life. How about you?
I don't know. I mean,
No, at that point, not now, but at that point, you start to look at things different. Like I was almost going to do the military because I figured the military would straighten my dumb ass up. But then I found out I started getting into snowboarding, and I was like, whoa, I'm not going to be able to do this if I go do that. Like I was planning on turning 18, and I'm out. I'm going to go be straightened out and do something respectful. But once snowboarding showed up and then graduation came, I was like, nope, not happening. Snowboarding was a big deal. Kind of still is. I mean, what they're doing now on snowboards is fucking crazy. It's like Olympians, like gymnasts, but on the boards and stuff. So that puts you in high school. What happened out of high school? Well, actually, I don't want to get too involved in it, but Todd used to be really good looking. And so girls would walk up to him. Like I remember walking into clubs and I would hear and girls would be like, "Oh my god!" Like I said, I used to have to fucking find rides home. I would show up with Todd to the bar, and I'd have to find a ride home. But anyways, so did you continue on that? Let's go down the path a little bit about.
Wait, weren't you like you were a quiet guy? Used to be like the
I was using your moves. I was the
quiet guy in the background, but now
real
it's
tall quiet guy with the nice hair in the back. No, that's whatever.
We don't need to talk about women, but we'll get into snowboarding. You graduate high school. What happens in life?
I fucked a couple rides up, and I didn't take people home when I'd show up. Big deal. It happens all the time.
Anyways, so out of high school, what happened to Todd?
I tried to go to college for about a semester, and I had
where?
My
Cerritos, North
Cypress College. I think it's been a long enough time. I'll just tell the story. So, my dad's dad left four of the grandchildren, my brother and I, and my two cousins, Katie and Claire, about $20,000 each to go to college with, if we so choose to, and if not, we could not take the money out and do with what we want until each of us turned 25. So
Todd did some math and said, college is for me.
Yeah.
you should have just waited. You should have waited that one out.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because actually, it's funny that we figured, I think Katie, the youngest one out of our cousins, waited, and she had a good stack of money with the interest and all that stuff.
Where'd the Kodak come from? Is that it?
That was my mom's mom.
That was your mom's mom?
Yeah.
So that was different.
Yeah, that was a whole different stack of money that we were playing around with, and I figured out how to.
I was around for that one.
Yeah, I lived with you when I was looting that.
What was that one?
The Kodak?
Yeah, because people don't do this kind of shit anymore.
No.
Our parents' generation did that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So talk about that. What was it?
Well, when I was living with you in the 90s, in early 2000s, my brother and I both had stock, what they call blue chip stock, and Kodak was one of the they were one of the companies that were considered a blue chip stock. I didn't have that much, I had probably, I don't know, at the time I think I had somewhere like between $7 and $9 grand, like that, and that's when you and I were living together, and you and I were.
I'm really good at spending other people's money.
Right. So you were spending your mom's money on other shit and going in, and we were doing good times and having fun. But I basically would, you're right, I would go down in the morning, down to your mom's desk there, and I would get on the phone, and I would call the bank that took care of.
You didn't turn them all in at once, right?
No.
And they're all in different pieces of paper, right?
Yeah, I pilfered them a little bit at a time, and I started running out of money, because, I wasn't running out of money. I always had a job, but living with you.
That's actually, you know what? Let's start right. Let's go back to that, where you said you always had a job.
Yeah, I've always had a job
since like 15.
Yeah, well, 14. I was working at
like you and I met at one of your jobs at UPS, but like you had a job.
My first job was I used to work at Philip and Zach's mom's ice cream factory in Paramount.
Wow, I didn't know that. I thought it was with Sam at Super A.
No, that was my first, like, you got a paycheck. Like, I got paid under the table with Nikki.
Gotcha.
We worked that summer. We would work. Me and Philip.
It's chores. You got paid to do some chores at somebody else's shop.
And eat a shit ton of ice cream. Which was fucking awesome. But yeah, I've had a job since I was 14.
Yeah. So let's go through them.
Ice cream. Super A Foods.
Ice cream. Super A was during high school, right?
Yeah. And then out of high school.
That's where you met Sam, and you learned some life lessons right there.
A lot of life lessons.
And Sam helped you out a lot in school because he let you drive his car.
His big 4x truck, yeah.
That's a big deal when you got to drive somebody else's.
Yeah, it's another thing. Someone let you borrow his truck, and if someone asked me to borrow my truck, I'd be like, So after Super A Foods, and I worked at AC Peterson, which was a concrete cutting company in Downey, and that was a great job. That taught me a lot of construction.
That's physical work, right?
A lot of physical work.
Yeah.
And cutting concrete. Sam worked there for a minute too. He was doing double dip, and he was working at Super A Foods and AC Peterson. But basically that's when the 105 just got constructed, and I cut all the green concrete, all the brand new pour concrete from Studebaker, from where the 105 ends, all the way up to, I'd say, Lakewood.
Wow.
Every night after they would do pours, every night I would get out there and I would cut the stripes, the green stripes, like every 10-foot break, so the concrete doesn't, when it dries, it does, when it cures, it doesn't break. So you put like a little 1-inch cut down, so I would do that. I did that for like 2 years, and then But I was working for AC Peterson for 3 years. But I was like the yard kid for a minute. I would pick up buckets and deliver supplies to the job sites and stuff like that. And then I got my own saw truck, and I was cutting concrete for about a year and a half, and then I got tired of being dirty and grimy, and so I quit. I applied for Cypress College. That's where I went to Cypress College. So then.
Were you living with Philip at this time?
Yeah,
or still at home?
No, still living with Philip.
Because your mom kicked you out, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't like you didn't have a choice?
No. When I got kicked out, I lived in Seal Beach for...
Todd liked to throw parties, and his mom left to go,
Vegas.
do her own life.
Yeah, my mom was going
and
to Vegas
she left
every other weekend. And
she
I
left
was
Todd.
having huge parties.
Yeah, and those parties finally caught up to him. And, those parties still exist. At any moment, you can walk into Todd's place, and it's going to be called Club Toddy. Club Toddy could be anywhere from 2 people to 200 people. But as long as there's music on and a beer in his hand, it's called Club Toddy. Yeah. And
good time.
Man, my 90s is just filled with Club Toddies. But so you're pouring concrete on the 105.
No, not pouring. Cutting
concrete on the 105. Question about the 105. Is it a rumor, or is it true, or didn't the people who put it together sink it on purpose so they can come back and what's that whole little deal?
There's a rumor that was circulating around for a long time that from the Studebaker to
Lakewood Boulevard?
No, basically to like past the 710. Where it's all under the freeways. It's like underground. It's not underground, but it's cut into that valley.
Yeah.
And so they have pump stations down from Studebaker.
Yeah, we sit in one right there next to.
So when it rains, when it rains and that section of the freeway is in that gully. When it rains, they have these pump stations that were supposed to basically, keep that gully from flooding. And I'd say the first 2 big rains, I'll never forget. Like, none of them worked. None of them worked. That whole section of the 105 just was a lake, underwater. So the companies that were working, that were in charge of not only like piping the pump stations, the concrete pours, the rebars, all those, like there'd be like rumors when you're out on the job, like, they're not doing that right, or that looks like that's gonna fail, and stuff like that. So there was a lot of at the time, I guess there was a lot of people saying, well, the reason why we're doing this is so we can come back to fix this and and stay on this job, and it kind of the 105 took a long time to like get clearance and cut the path and have.
I went to school right at the beginning of it, Imperial and Woodruff. Oh man, what are we talking here? I think 80. 182.
Remember when it was just the dirt valley?
Yeah, I was at school right there, and there was rumors that people would. I didn't live in the area, but I went to school there right at the beginning of the freeway, and I remember hearing things about all these houses are gonna be taken out, and they're gonna put a freeway right there.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. Like I'm in kindergarten, first or second. It means nothing to me.
Right.
So then, when I finally do move to Downey in '91, it's not done yet, but it's about to open. Yeah. So we would have to take Firestone. We would take 605 and get off at Firestone and take Firestone home. And then all of a sudden they open that thing, and now you take Paramount. But I remember back in the early '80s they were talking about that shit.
It was a dirt valley. It was a dirt valley behind our homes for probably 5 years, right there behind Super 8 Foods. We'd go right there. So we used to, after school, Craig and all his crew and mine, and we'd come down there and we'd get our bikes and we'd go down there and we'd make jumps, and the construction dudes would chase us out, and we would be, we'd take all their shovels and chisel out, jumps. We had the most massive dirt clod fights. I got hit so hard. This kid, Pat Jones, I remember threw a dirt clod and hit me in the side of the head, and so hard that I think I knocked out for a second. And when I got up, I looked around to see what he threw at me, and I think it was part rock and part dirt. And Pat came up, he knew, like, it's like, fuck, dude, I'm sorry, like that's a rock in there, Pat, like the dirt clods, man.
You probably didn't know at the time.
Dirt clods, so. But yeah, so Super 8 Foods, and then, like I said, AC Peterson, and then after AC Peterson, I went to college, and then in college, that first semester, I basically took a lot of art classes, and I tried to get into a math class that I was nowhere near ready for. And so with the art classes, what I figured out what to do is I spent the money to get into college and take all my courses.
But at the time, the girl I was going out with, she was going to USC, and she was doing her first like semester abroad in France. And so I figured out a way to get the money out of my bank for school activities. Is all I could use the money for. Like, so if I was room and board and books and all that stuff, they would the bank would pay for that. So what I came up with, and mind you, there's no like Photoshop wasn't really. I mean, I wasn't doing this in Photoshop. I did this all with copy machines. But basically, what I did was, I told the bank that my class at Cypress College was going to France for a week or for a couple weeks to go take a tour of all the museums, and I needed $2,000 for a plane ticket and spending money. So I made this fake itinerary of where we would be in France, like day to day, and what museums we were going to, and I made this on a cool little, like, I drew and I typed it, and I made a cool little border for it, and then I put it in an envelope and I sent it to the bank, and I was like, okay, let's see if this works. And what I got back was a check for $2,500, and they said, go have a good time. Go have a good time and learn all this stuff.
I remember when you went to Europe. Is that it?
Yeah.
Because you weren't in school when we met, but you went to Europe while I knew you.
Yeah, no, that was the end of my days in school. Was you and I were working. I was working at UPS, and I was going to school. And then when I figured out how to scam the bank and get the money to go on my trip,
Stop going to school.
I stopped going to school. that was my outro,
Gotcha.
So yeah, so I went to Europe in '95.
I remember that trip.
In '95, I went to Europe, and I landed in France, and like I said, I went to Amsterdam, and then to Germany, and then back into France, back to Italy, back to...
Did you have a backpack on?
I did backpack. I did. I looked like, all the pictures, I actually just kind of, I was thumbing through shit the other day, and I found one, and I looked like the quintessential, like, stupid American with the cut-off sleeves, Dearborn. I have my sleeves cut off, and there's a picture of me standing in Venice, in between the canals, and I had a Vans cut-off T-shirt. And the Vans shirt, it was during our
Vans days?
During the Vans days. And I'm standing up there with my sneakers and I have these big baggy shorts on, and I got this little shit attitude on. And it's a picture of like all these people that are living in Venice, and they're Italians, and they're just doing their day-to-day, going to work. And I'm sitting up there fucking like hogging the whole stairway, just like, take a picture of me. I look fucking cool up here, man.
I remember when you came back, you were livid about the Italians and how they treat women.
Yeah,
and like you just wanted to fight everybody.
Yeah, I had a hard time. I had a hard time in Europe. Like France and Italy were the hardest, like, because they were just like catcalling. Like, when you're with a woman and they like the woman you're with, they will let her know, like, in front of you. And I was not used to any of that shit. So on a day-to-day basis,
because that doesn't happen here. If that happens, if it happens here, you do something about it and it's okay.
Right, and you expect that to happen, but over
there, like, you're allowed to do it, and like, you can't.
It's just different, it's different. And then of course you can pick me out from a fucking lineup a million miles away. I'm an American, and then so was the girl I was with. So, I mean, they were like, I would say not like, like they did it on purpose because they knew what I was doing. But I'm saying that she was a beautiful girl, and so they would, whistle and be like, hey, and talk to her. And I was like, hey, why don't you shut the fuck up? And I remember I ruined the last day in France. We were going to this church up on this big grass. I can't remember the name of the church. It's a famous church there. But these dudes, these dudes selling the tchotchkes out in front of the monuments and stuff like that. We walked in, and as we were walking, they were like, hey, what's up, mama? And they were fucking whistling at her, and fucking, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, guess what, motherfucker? I go, when I come out, and we were talking. And so we did, the tour was like a big horseshoe. And sure enough, man, these kids set their table was on the intro on the way out, and on the way, they moved their table to the outro of the tour. And they were like, all right, what's up? What's up, white boy? What are you doing? And I was just so, and Monica's dragging me down the steps going, let's not do this.
And I remember I just sit there for a minute, just like steaming, just going, I can't believe this. I'm gonna go flip that table over with all their shit on there. I'm gonna punch the big tall guy first. That's who I'm gonna go for. And I just remember, you know, Monica was just like, I cannot believe you're ruining the Europe trip. I'm like, it's me. I go, it's them. It's them that's ruining the trip, you know. So I had to, you know, I got a real, you know, and Europe was a good life lesson learning thing. You know, people in Europe were. It's a whole different vibe. It was 95, but it's a different vibe. People over there aren't like.
Yeah, they didn't hate Americans quite yet.
Not yet, but you still were like, yeah, you know, they're still American. But you know, the people over there they're not living. They live to live. They're not keeping up with a lot of Joneses type shit here like we do here in the States.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and everything over there, people are just, they go about their daily lives. They go to work. They come home and they just want a siesta.
And they just catcall your woman.
And they're doing a lot of cat calling and shit like that. But it was the 95 trip was fun. And then, like I said, we got back. You and I continued on doing our 90s shit.
Club Toddy.
And
getting left at bars.
I didn't leave you at that many bars.
I always had a ride home.
Right. So, no, that's basically how we got to here, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we're missing some things. I think we missed your professional career. But at some point, Todd became a professional. And what's that number say right there, Scott?
I can't read that with glasses.
You're fucking killing me.
2.
We're at 52. Bam! So that...
Yeah, so then after that, we basically, I was working in the production industry. I worked for a company called T-30 Films. And that company was my first like real taste of working in the commercial and movie
industry,
the commercial industry, movie industry, and then
lights, camera, action.
Yeah, and then I was a runner for that company. And then during that time, I was like, hey, I kind of want to get involved with post and learn how to edit.
Where'd you go for a week? You went somewhere for a week, and I did your job. I remember Andrew had me getting fish, and those were the fish that were eaten. Like I wanted a commercial for fish, and I had to go to different fish stores, and he's like, I don't want those. I'm like, what are you going to do with them? Just throw them away? I'm like, no, I have a fish tank, and those are the fish that end up getting eaten.
Right.
But where'd you go for a week?
I was like to editing school. I think I was
editing or sound?
Editing school.
Yeah, 'cause you went to sound school first.
Yeah, I went to sound school first. That was sound master.
Yeah, Todd graduated. He did go to college. He graduated college. Sound master.
Trade schools. So yeah,
sound master engineering.
I did that, and then.
Do you remember the Beat Pimps concert that you could not sound engineer for the life of you?
Right. Well, I think that also had to deal with my intoxication at the time too. But I actually, and I brought a kid from the class that actually did the sound engineering.
It was fun.
His name Dan.
It was a fun concert.
It
was a fun concert. The whole time we're just like,
bring it up.
We're just all just like, who put us in charge?
A lot of pointing.
Like, who put us in charge?
Well, so I went to Soundmaster, and then I got the job at T-30 Films, and then Burgess got me the job. Chris got me. His mom's girlfriend worked at T-30 Films in the accounting department, and then Burgess was like, hey man, I think there's a bunch of equipment down here that you went to school for. And so I get a job at T-30 Films. I'm a runner, running all over, tapes over.
Not using any of your education whatsoever.
Not using any of it. But in the door. So then I tell the boss that I want to be an editor, and he goes, all right, I'll send you to school. So he sends me to editing school for about a week, and I try to apply to get the job at the company I'm working for in the editing department, and they go, no, you didn't pass.
But you wanted to be an editor for a minute, because I remember when we first met, I had a box of VHS tapes, box of snowboarding videos, and I'm like, hey, I've seen these all 100 times. You want to watch them? Yeah. And you're like, that's what I want to do. And I'm like, what, snowboard? He's like, no, make those, edit those. And I was like, all right, cool. Didn't think anything of it. I'm like, give me my fucking videos back. I want to watch them.
Right.
And then slowly but surely, I picked up a camera, you played an editor, and together
we made stuff.
Yeah, together we make one good person.
One good person.
One good person. All right, so we actually got a lot further than I thought, but we got to where I thought. Like I said, I wanted to get from birth to the real thing. We kind of skipped from high school to the real thing. We made that real quick, but I mean.
And that's where I met Scotty Dearborn over here on the boards. That's where Scott and I met, and. He's a great editor. He's the one that puts all of our shows together, and he's our man, right?
Yeah,
Was it fun working together? I mean, we're
Sure.
still working together. Real thing was good times.
I hate you, but
I hate
I
you.
love you. Yeah, the first time I showed up was at the Real Thing.
He loves telling this story.
He's in the chair and he spins around and he has his Boston hat on, just because I'm from Boston. So it's just like, he's like, oh, cool, you're from Boston. He's like, no, but
No, but I got this hat.
I got this cool. No, but
you like Matt Damon?
Yeah.
Ben Affleck?
Huh?
And that was
Huh?
it. And then
How
I
you
felt-
like them apples? No, I was, I wear lids. I like to wear, the Dodger hats. I wore that one that day. I did wear it because you were coming in. I wanted to show my, my.
You knew that the guy coming in was from Boston?
Yeah, because the what's her name?
Sal.
Little Sal. Yeah, she's the one that said, "Hey, I think I got a guy that would be, that would love to work here and wants to come out from Boston." He was a friend of Larry. Scotty's friend that was it's in the band. Actually, the Roughed Up Folk the music we use.
Opening track, yeah.
Yeah, our opening track is from a band called Roughed Up Folk. Scotty is good friends with the guitarist of that band. And
Singer.
Singer, guitar. Well, he's a
Whole band.
guitarist too, right?
The whole band.
The whole band. Okay. But yeah, so Little Sal was going out with him, and Little Sal was our receptionist at the Real Thing. She goes, "Hey, I think I got a guy that would be really good here." And so I was like, "Well, wicked cool, huh? So bring him in, And so the first day, I was wearing a Boston hat because I just wanted to show you that, hey, you're home. I like you. I'm gonna like you. I know I was gonna like you right out of the fucking start, right out of the gate.
Sure.
You freaking Southie.
Yeah, and I'm not from Boston. I'm outside the city.
Whatever, close enough.
My parents have accents, but I don't have it.
No, you don't
Just-
really.
just
you
orange.
do.
Did you?
Orange.
Yeah, when you
No,
say,
no.
but yeah,
No,
No,
you never did.
He does. When he says orange,
have, like,
it's
there's a
it's
couple
orange.
words.
Orange.
Horrible.
Horrible. When you say horrible.
Yeah.
What's a 25-cent piece called?
What?
What's a 25-cent piece called?
Quarter.
Quarter.
Yeah. My godson's great grandma, she is from Boston, and to this day, she says quarter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Quarter.
No, my
like
parents.
you can't. It is not out of her.
That's what when we
It's-
make fun of him, we got to tell him to slow the words down. Say
Yeah.
orange.
It's mostly like the schooling. Like my parents have thick accents, but
Are they still there?
yeah.
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 Well, that explains why.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna wrap this episode up, and thank you, Todd. Thank you for letting us know you. Yeah. All right, guys, join us for the next episode. There will be no closing words. There will be no ending today. We're just going to say bye-bye.
Bye.